Let's get rolling on a Friday. Glasses in session. We go to the Glasser guest line and check in with Peter Appel, who joins us every other week here on Send It In. Always great having Peter on the show. Give Peter a follow on X at PeterAppel23, co-founder of Just Baseball. Peter, always great having you on, man. We got a great baseball slate today, and I want to start with the early game that we have out in Wrigley between the D-backs and the Cubs. And it's always fun when we see a total of 11.5 because we know that the wind is blowing out, and it is today. They're calling for like 20, 25 mile per hour winds. When you get these crazy wind games, Peter, out in Chicago, do you like to usually stay away? Does it depend on the pitching matchup? Like, how do you attack these games out in Wrigley when you get these extreme winds?
Yeah, everybody wants to jump on this game, and for good reason, right? It's 2:20 on a Friday. You want something to sweat out. It's super, super fun. But here's the thing. The books know that, and they price everything in. So rarely are you getting any value on a game, especially early on in the afternoon, right? If this was stashed in a 7 p.m. slate or something like that, not a standalone game, maybe we've been having a different discussion. But you scroll through social media, every single person is loading up their home run parlays. They're taking the over. They're taking this and that. Me personally, I just stay away. Now, do I like the over? I think runs are going to be scored. The winds are blowing out 20 miles an hour. Of course I like the over, but I'm not going to touch it, especially at now 11.5 when the opener was close to 9. One bet that I was looking at that my model showed a little bit of value on, Corbin Burnes under 5.5 strikeouts. So if you like the over, you like runs, the Cubs offense is fantastic at not striking out. That's something that was showing a little bit of value, but I modeled it out, went over every prop, total, money line, and found absolutely nothing. Actually, a little bit of value on the under, but I'm not going to take it. Only one showing a little bit of value, Corbin Burnes under 5.5 strikeouts.
Should be a great series. What a start for the Cubs to their season. They played the Padres a couple times. They got the Dodgers a couple times. Now they get the D-backs a couple times. Crazy. They're going through the NL West. Speaking of the NL West, Peter, we got the Dodgers taking on Texas this weekend. Very well could be a World Series preview with these two teams. At this point in the season, do you feel that way? Is it Texas and LA, or are there a couple other teams that you like?
I'm just not sold on the Texas Rangers. They've been winning a couple of games against the Angels when those bats have really, really slowed down. And I'll also talk about that when I get to my best bet later on in the segment. But the Rangers, there's something about them that they don't really impress me right now. It's a big boom or bust team. And I think one of the bigger boom or bust players on their team, which could lead them eventually to a World Series, is Jacob deGrom. I'm a little bit worried about deGrom right now, though. Looked great against the Red Sox, right? 5 shutout outings. First start was hitting 98 miles an hour. Not the quite 101 that we're used to, but it's okay, right? It's still Jacob deGrom, pinpoint command. Last 2 starts, he's only sitting around 95, 96 miles an hour. And the walks, which are normally never there for deGrom, because we know about Jacob deGrom, velo, strikeouts, we love all of that. But the best part about deGrom, in my opinion, is pinpoint command. The command hasn't been there, and the fastball isn't quite the same. So if I'm looking at this matchup today, Yamamoto has been unbelievable. And there's always going to be a little bit of a tax betting on the Dodgers, but there's also a tax betting on Jacob deGrom. So I would actually lean towards the Dodgers' way in terms of just this game today. And if we're talking about World Series, yes, the Dodgers have to be considered among the best in baseball, clearly. You don't need me to explain to you how great the Dodgers are. But the Rangers, I'm not really sold yet. But at the same time, I'm not sold on any team in the American League. I can make a pitch for the Red Sox. Yankees? Anyone in the Central? Not really. Astros? No. Mariners? No. It's so wide open. So I guess the Rangers could get there just because the rest of the American League just isn't that good.
I'm with you, man. The AL is so wide open, as you can see on BetMGM. Yankees still the clear favorite, plus 340. Texas right behind them at plus 650. Peter, I do want to ask you, I was looking at BetMGM. There was a really interesting bet that I saw. Dodgers, as you said, I mean, they're the favorites, obviously, to win the National League, to win the World Series. But their division has been on a heater so far to start the season. 4 really good teams. The Padres being one of them. They're 17-1 to lead Major League Baseball in regular season wins this year. We know they're not afraid of the Dodgers. They sell out every home game in San Diego. Their lineup's terrific. The top end of their rotation, their bullpen's very good. 17-1, that's a good price. Do you think it's worth taking the Padres to lead baseball in wins this year and outpace the Dodgers?
I actually do. I think that is good value. It would just be, a very small wager because the Dodgers likely win this category. But I don't even mind looking at the D-backs and the Giants as well. I think the best record in baseball is going to come out of this division. And if it's not the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks are on such a roll. They are such a good team. The Giants, we can't remember, they won 107 games in Buster Posey's last season. Now he's at the head of the helm as the GM, and he made all these great moves, and the Giants look reinvigorated. The offense is good, but the starting pitching is even better, and the bullpen is elite too. So the Padres have gotten off to the best start so far, but I think the Giants are going to be competing with them, and the Diamondbacks. So I would look at all three of those teams in terms of best record in baseball, but again, I would make them small because, of course, you got the Dodgers.
100%. I like it. That NL West division is going to be fun to watch throughout the rest of the season. We're talking with Peter Appel here on Send It In. The Giants are part of your best bet today, Peter, on the MLB card in that Giants-Angels game, the nightcap on today's slate. What play do you like?
Absolutely. So I like the Giants versus the Angels under 8 runs. Now, you might be a little bit afraid of that because the Giants are MLB's best team to the over so far this season at 14-5, including 11-2 to the over on the road. And the Angels are an over team as well, going 10-8 to the under. But I am not buying it, especially in this matchup. There's a little bit of travel on both sides. Giants flying from Philly over to LA. Angels flying from Texas over to LA again. So there's a little bit of a travel, but even if there wasn't any travel, I would still like the under because Logan Webb's numbers against the current Angels roster are unbelievable. They're only hitting about 175 with a 37% strikeout rate, and the average launch angle against Logan Webb for the Angels bats today, negative 12.8 degrees. That is outrageous. That means it's typically soft contact on the ground, and then the Giants bullpen is fully rested. On the other side, the Giants have been a huge over team. They're killing right-handed pitching. We saw that series against Philly. They put up 10 runs in 2 games. But the games against those lefties, though, they only put up 4. And against Christopher Sanchez, they set the MLB record in the pitch tracking era for whiffs against a changeup from Christopher Sanchez. What does Tyler Anderson throw? A lot of changeups. Giants only ranked 22nd in batting average against lefties this year, so the offense really isn't coming from that side of the plate. So I think that while both of these teams have been spiraling over the total, I don't see it today. Give me the under 8 runs in Giants-Angels.
All right, I love it. Take under 8 there in Angels-Giants. Peter, before we let you go, want to get your thought on some big picture futures, whether it be MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year. Aaron Judge obviously off to an insane start in the American League and get some good numbers there. Skeens amongst the favorites, as he will be all season in NL Cy Young. Anything that catches your eye in any of those markets?
Tyler Soderstrom to win the MVP is starting to catch my eye. So to win the MVP, your team has to probably be in playoff contention. And that's why the odds are still out of whack for a guy who leads Major League Baseball in home runs. But you look at Tyler Soderstrom, and this is not a guy just kind of off to a good start and who really knows if he's going to continue. The underlying batted ball metrics are incredible. The swing is incredible. Every AB I watch is fantastic. This is a guy who was drafted really high in the draft, came up as a catcher, switched over to first base, has just been destroying baseballs. So there is definitely a path to him being one of the best hitters in the league. The thing is, the odds are still low because the books don't anticipate the A's really competing. But the A's have a really talented lineup. They're about to call up Nick Kurtz. They have a solid starting rotation. They have a back-end bullpen led by Mason Miller, but a couple of younger arms are stepping up there. If the A's are relatively in contention and Tyler Soderstrom can continue to hit at this rate, which I think he can, I don't think it's crazy to see him hit 40 home runs this year. I think he's a decent look for MVP in the American League at really, really long odds right now.
Oh, I like that. I might be taking a sprinkle of that after the show. Great stuff as always. Peter Appel joining us here on Send It In. Make sure you guys are following Peter on X at PeterAppel23, co-founder of Just Baseball. Peter, always great to have you on, man. Looking forward to do it soon. Enjoy your weekend.
Absolutely. You too. Good luck, everybody.